Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Detective has been the basis for countless films, television programs, books, and games over the years. But one of these many derivative works was a board game, first released in 1975, in which up to 6 players race around London collecting clues and returning to Sherlock's apartment to solve the case of the day. The original game included 20 cases, and 8 expansions over the following 10 years brought that count up to 180. It's since been re-released in a deluxe edition that includes all of those cases along with another 20 to bring it to an even 200. But today, we're kicking it old school with the very first case of the very first edition of 221B Baker Street. Every player picks a coloured pawn and places it on the start space at 221B. Give each player a Scotland Yard badge, a skeleton key, a solutions checklist sheet, and something to write on it with. Put the remaining skeleton key cards on the space next to the locksmith, and the remaining Scotland Yard badges on the space next to Scotland Yard. Choose which case you're going to play and read it aloud. The rulebook recommends playing them in order. Not sure why, or if it really matters. It's been a minute since I've played this one. It also recommends reading the case once quickly, then once more a little slower, so everyone can pick up all the details. When you're done, set the case card near the game board. Any player can pick it up and review it at any time. Roll the die to see who goes first. This game uses the old classic roll and move mechanic. On your turn, you'll roll the die and move up to that many spaces in any direction orthogonally. When you get to a space with an arrow, you may use one more space of movement to enter the connected location. When you enter a location, your movement for the turn stops, but you may read a clue. Check the back of the case card for this game to see which clue number corresponds to your location. Then, secretly view that clue in the rulebook. Some clues will be fairly basic. General statements such as, Stanley Harris has a bad case of asthma, or Alice Gloth was seen outside the Boar's Head the night of the murder. Some of these general statements will hold vital information, and some will be completely useless. You may even find some locations that have no clue whatsoever. And some clues will be puzzles that point to a specific item, such as the name of the killer, the weapon, or a hiding place. Puzzle clues may look something like this. The 4 parts section indicates how many pieces there are to this particular puzzle. The Roman numeral 1 indicates that this particular clue is the first piece of that puzzle. Once you've travelled round to some of the other locations, you may collect other clues, such as and. Piecing all these together and cross-referencing with the characters mentioned in the case, you should be able to come up with the killer's name. Whenever you collect a clue, you'll want to make note of it on your solutions checklist. Simply turn these notes face down to prevent other players from stealing your homework, and review them privately when you need to. The rulebook recommends imposing a time limit of 30 seconds when players check clues. You cannot pick up the clues booklet to review a clue you've already checked unless you return to that location on the game board, so make sure you take good notes. When you find a clue you think is particularly crucial, or perhaps when you want other players to think so, you may use your Scotland Yard badge card to seal it off with a police cordon as you leave, by placing the card on the entrance. You can't do this to Scotland Yard, the locksmith, or 221B Baker Street, and you can't do it if another player is already in the location when you leave. The only way to open a sealed entrance is to spend a skeleton key card. Discard both the key and the badge to their appropriate piles when this happens. If you enter Scotland Yard and you don't have a badge anymore, you can take a new one from the pile. Likewise with the locksmith and the skeleton keys. Each player may only carry one of each of these cards at a time. When you think you know the answers to all the pieces of the case, as required by the case card, you may return to 221B Baker Street and attempt to solve it. Publicly announce your answers, then privately check the solution to the case you're playing in the rulebook, being careful not to accidentally read the solution to any other cases. If you're correct, announce your victory and read the solution aloud. If you're wrong, you're eliminated from the game. Close the rulebook and wait for the next detective to come back to the apartment and make an attempt. And that is how you play 221B Baker Street.
Hey there, my name's Kyle McCarley. I'm a voice actor by trade. You may have heard me as one of these guys. But I'm here to talk to you now about one of my favorite hobbies, board games. I love them. If you like board games, you should check out The Board and Barrel every Sunday night at 7:30 Pacific on twitch.tv/Kyle McCarley, where me and my buddies play board games. We also give you guys a chance to help us or hurt us, depending on how you feel, with our Buff and Nerf house rules. And we have virtual bingo cards you can fill out while you're watching the show. It's a good time. Hope to see you there.